After watching the Light Harem anime last year, April through June 2023, fans eagerly await the much-needed update on In Another World with My Smartphone Season 3. Is it on the cards? Well, anime enthusiasts have been seeking the right answer, but the anime received rave reviews, making many believe it might not return for another season. But we have a surprising update for anime lovers. Curious to know? Then keep reading. Based on the Japanese light novel series, In Another World with My Smartphone is an Isekai anime that follows a 15-year-old Touya Mochizuki's journey. After being accidentally killed by God, he was reincarnated in a fantasy world with his smartphone. Though he couldn't contact with his old world, his smartphone turned out to be an asset to survive in this fantasy world. While his choice of action eventually created chaos in his, Touya is set to make a name in this world. Can he? Let's see. After watching the second season finale in June 2023, anime enthusiasts have been clamoring for more. Well, there's no denying that. That's because the Isekai light novel has a huge fan base, and so does its anime adaptation. However, since the studio released the final episode, there have been words about In Another World with My Smartphone, Season 3, jeopardizing its fate. So, will it return with another season? Although the official announcement has not been released yet, there's a chance that the anime might return for the third season. That's because it received decent ratings on IMDb and My Anime List, garnering 6.5 and 6.4 stars out of 10 respectively. Meanwhile, on Rotten Tomatoes, the anime performed incredibly well, earning 81%, breaking all the records. So considering the reviews, it's believed that Season 3 of In Another World with My Smartphone might return. The first season aired in 2017, and it took almost 6 years to return with its sophomore run. Considering this, we can expect In Another World with My Smartphone Season 3 to return sometime in the future. It might be tricky to guess whether J.C. staff will return. That's because the first season, which aired from July 11 to September 26, 2017, was produced by Production Reed. While the series did well, it received rave reviews from fans for its narration and animation. Die-hard readers of light novels noted how much source material was skipped over, which later created complications for Production Reed to continue with the anime. However, the studio house isn't expected to return as it is currently working on 2 animes, How I Attended an All-Guys Mixer and 365 Days to the Wedding. Since Production Reed is known for producing 1 or 2 animes a year, it doesn't seem like it will return with In Another World with My Smartphone Season 3. As for J.C. staff, the studio house animated the second season but didn't give justice to its source material, per fans. Many even stated that Season 1 was better than the second season regarding narration. That's because the second season skipped the majority of the main arcs and didn't even focus on the battle between the protagonist and his enemies. As for the animation, the transition between the 2 scenes didn't perform well. So indeed, J.C. staff received more lousy reviews compared to Production Reed. However, since the studio house is currently working on plenty of projects, it doesn't look like it will return with In Another World with My Smartphone Season 3. J.C. staff is currently working on 12 animes, including One Punch Man 3. So it doesn't look like the third season of Isekai Smartphone will return this year, unless another studio house takes the license of the series. As we have mentioned above, it has yet to be revealed which studio house will continue with the series' animation. Since Production Reed and J.C. staff didn't perform better based on the fans' expectations, it remains to be seen which studio house will produce the next season of Isekai Smartphone. If we talk about the production status, anime takes almost a year or more to finish its animation. Considering that In Another World with My Smartphone Season 3 needs to drop great animation and narration, it might require more time to finish production and post-production work. Thus, we can expect that the series will return almost 2 or more years later. The anime adaptation of Isekai Smartphone is based on a light novel series that was initially published as a web novel on Shosetsuka ni Naro on April 8, 2013. The series was later serialized as a light novel series by Hobby Japan, illustrated by Eiji Usatsuka on May 22, 2015. As of now, the LN has released 29 volumes, which is enough for the third season. However, the first season covered 3.5 volumes of light novels, while the second season covered 3 to 7 volumes. So far, the anime has covered 7 volumes of LN. Since it has 22 volumes left to cover, there's a high chance for In Another World with My Smartphone Season 3. However, the second volume covered most of the storyline, and if the third season covered the same 5 volumes, there's less chance of having more seasons after the third run. But we expect it to return with a feature film after Season 3. The Anime Daily will update you once we get an official announcement. In the final episode of In Another World with My Smartphone, Season 2, Kogyoko locates Tower Islands, Rampart, and their keepers, Prelira and Pamela. After that, Preliora reveals that Professor Babylon has foreseen Touya's future. As per the prediction, Touya will have 2 more wives in the future, Lin and Sakura. Meanwhile, in the present, Queen Yell gave birth to a boy and named him Belfast's future king. While the young boy replaced Touya, his other wives learned they were also about to welcome their children. However, they were upset with Touya for keeping things under wrap, so they punished him with a kiss. Since the anime has already finished 7 volumes, we can expect in Another World with My Smartphone Season 3, Touya will embark on a new journey. He will go on a quest where he will meet 2 wives, Lin and Sakura. While the following enemies will challenge him, Touya will create a world for his wives, so he can make things fruitful for his future kids. The anime has received rave reviews. However, many Redditors have stated that the second season was worse than the pilot season. It skipped most of the major story arc to introduce Touya's 7 wives. Another user said that although the second season wasn't as good as the first, it was satisfying to watch. Other users said Season 2 was a cynical cash grab that essentially acted as a best-of highlight clip of various arcs in the light novels. I can't even decide if I want to buy the eventual Blu-ray. On the other hand, I like to be complete. On the other hand, it rewards greedy behavior on the part of the studio. Either way, despite having been so excited for Season 2, I am fine with no Season 3 if this is how they treat the property. Meanwhile, the other users said the anime was faithful to the LN. The only real changes they've made were to remove redundant things and explanations to simplify the flow of the adaptation. Further, many stated that the anime was a light-hearted comedy, so its portrayal did justice to the narration. As we mentioned above, the anime hasn't been greenlighted yet, so it remains unclear when the third season will return. However, considering the sophomore season returned after 5 years, we expect the same with its third season. Speaking of the In Another World with My Smartphone Season 3 release date, if the series were announced in 2024, it would take almost a couple of years to return. The next season might be released in 2026. This is all for now. Stay with the Anime Daily to stay updated.